Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm so happy to have you. My name is Brooklyn Laurel, and today we're going to be talking about indulging in life without guilt. So basically, this is a very simple concept, and I want to keep it as simple as possible because I think that it's really important. And I do want to say that everything that we learn throughout our lives, there's a difference between knowing it and actually being able to apply it to our lives in ways that are productive. Sometimes we understand a concept, but our subconscious has a harder time keeping up with those things. And so while the topic of this video involves being patient with yourself, I want to add an extra reminder of how important it is to be patient with yourself and allow yourself to start with this concept and interact with it in a way that is beneficial to you. This is something that I have noticed, and I think a lot of people have noticed either in their own lives or in the lives of people that they watch, either whether it be on YouTube or like in real life, that we are very inclined to having cycles or going through cycles of life. And I think that it's super important to identify the cycles that exist in your life because they can tell you a lot about yourself, and you can't break a cycle unless you know exactly what that cycle is and what is causing it. What is at the beginning of it? What is at the end of it? And how am I going to interact with the cycle? Is it helping me? Is it harming me? And so I want to talk about indulging in life without guilt. And a part of that is understanding that we are humans. This is something that I think becomes more highlighted in the light of AI becoming such a big thing in our society, and the fact that there is something that can outperform us in a way that we perceive to be better. And what I mean by that is if I ask AI a question, it can give me paragraphs and paragraphs of answers, and sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. Honestly, a lot of the time it feels right because it's like I probably wouldn't have reasoned my way based on the information that I have to that answer, and therefore because it has more information, I feel like it's right. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is right. But we have something that can basically produce something like large loads of information that is accessible to us, and we have something that can create things into a category of what we perceive to be perfect. And when I say perfect, um I don't mean that there's no issue with what is being created. I mean that it's flawless, or like it appears so like neat and like untouched by human imperfect hands. And so because these things exist, I think that it really highlights the difference between us and a program, and human beings' ability to create something that is similar to us and can outperform us, but doesn't necessarily have the same characteristics that we have as humans. And there are weaknesses and strengths to being human. And so I just want to take a second and highlight the fact that we are all human. And because of our complex makeup, because of our the fact that we are organic, that we exist in this world and interact with this world, that we have a place in this world in our own unique way, it's important to understand that we are complex, that we make mistakes, that we have so many things that are going on in our brains, we interact with one another, we are unique. And I think that being able to understand that kind of helps us embrace all the things that come with being human, embrace falling out of your routine. I personally am on a road of self improvement. I want to become as good as I can. And what that means to me may be different than what that means to you or what that means to somebody else. For me, it is doing things that I'm passionate about, having a relationship with God, having a good relationship with others, and taking care of myself. Those things are things that I feel like are propelling me towards success. And while my brain likes to organize things in a very neat and perfect manner, the world is not neat and perfect, and I am not perfect. And because of that, I can create as many routines as I want. I can create as much structure as I want. But that doesn't mean that that structure is going to prevail in the light of me being human. If I was not human and if I was a computer, then I could do the same exact thing every day neatly. But because the chemicals in my brain sometimes throw me off my routine, because staying up late to chat with a friend sometimes throws me out of my routine, because very human things come into my path and I navigate them, I'm going to fall out of that routine multiple times. And I think us wanting to almost be not human, because to me it's unhuman to have a perfect routine and check every box every single day. I don't think that that's what we were made to do, and I don't think that's how we thrive. I do think that we are creatures of habit, and I think that using that to our advantage can create positive cycles instead of negative ones. But I also think that patience with yourself and understanding that I will mess up. Not a matter of if I mess up, it's a matter of I will mess up. And learning how to navigate that is the most important thing that we can do as humans. Getting used to existing realistically can prepare us for all of the challenges and obstacles that come in light of us trying to improve ourselves. Because I genuinely think that we want an ideal that doesn't make room for the detail that comes with being human. And it's not a negative thing. I think that as we create, we come to conclusions of, I need to define a perfect. I need to define what it is to be successful, what it is to win, what it is to succeed. And what we don't understand is often we move the goalpost constantly. It's, I'm never going to be enough. I think that's the bottom line. And while we can bask in moments of success, we will always be looking for the next thing. We will always be wanting to move forward, because that is a part of who we are as humans. We are always trying to advance ourselves, always trying to be better. And I think that that's a good thing. But I also think that it's important to exist in the experience. I struggle a lot to live in the moment. I am constantly thinking about my future, and I have a partner who is constantly living in the moment. And it is so interesting to me because he will be completely content and just fine and be like, why are we thinking about that? That's not happening right now. And not to like there's an understanding of the concept of planning ahead, but living without the anxiety of what's coming next, what's the future. I'll be on a vacation, and as the end comes around, I'm depressed. Last 2 days of the vacation, I'm depressed. Why are you depressed? Because it's going to be over when it's actively not over. I think it's about us understanding that each moment we are living in, we the planning process cannot last forever, and I think that we should be able to indulge in each step of our life without feeling guilt about what we're not doing, about what we are doing, about how we're not doing enough. There are so many reasons to feel guilty, but guilt freezes you. And it's so important for us to be able to move. It's so important for us to allow ourselves that mobility. And I kind of talk about this, and I started this video with saying to be patient with yourself, because when you start to realize that moving is better than staying stagnant in the face of guilt, you will be thinking about that. And it's something that I think about, where it's like, I'm wasting so much time. No, it's never too late. If you feel like you're wasting time right now, pivot. Don't continue to waste time because you feel like you're wasting time. And it's really funny how our minds justify our m- lack of mobilization. And I think that everything that your brain is telling you, whether it be from mental illness, whether it be from just, I'm out here, the things that your brain is telling you is its attempts to protect you. But I always find it very frustrating and funny that your body often does not know what is going on. Like it's so confused and it's just doing its best. It's being like based on the information of what you're eating, how you're sleeping, what's happening. I'm going to try and do my best to take care of you. I'll wake you up at 5 a.m. every day. I'll make sure that I'll pump you full of dopamine because you kept on pulling out your phone, and I will do what I can to help you. If you don't want to be hungry, I will. If I feel like we're not getting enough nutrients, then I won't be hungry. And like your body is doing its best to anticipate your needs, but your body doesn't know what's going on. You know what's going on. And sometimes you're deceiving it without even knowing, without realizing that you're guiding it in the wrong direction. And so I just, the message that I hope that we can learn today from this is that it is okay to stumble. It's okay to fall out of your routine. It's okay to exist realistically. Our expectations for ourselves can often be the things that stop us from doing something even better than what we ever expected that we could do. And it's the same thing about like, I'm learning more about my body. And the more I learn about my body, the more I can move with my body cycles and I can embrace the parts of my body that I love. I can move with my body cycles and I can use those things and the knowledge that I gain to my advantage instead of viewing everything as a weakness, viewing everything as a waste of time, being angry because I can't do something. And I always think back to having kids makes you slow down. I think about that so often. And I think about like those videos where like a kid is like trying to do something and they're trying real hard and you're like, I could do this in 2 seconds, but the parent will watch and wait and let the kid figure it out. And that patience, that ability to slow down because another human needs it from you, I think that we need to be able to apply that to ourselves. I don't think you need to have kids to be able to slow down. It's something that you just need to remind yourself that you have to be patient. We're not in a rush. We're just trying to get through life. And it's okay to not be hyper productive. It's okay to be hyper productive one day and then not be productive the next day. Your body is always telling you something. And I just think that it's so important for us to be more patient with ourselves and to lower our expectations to allow ourselves to thrive. I think that expectations are a great thing, but being able to manage them is also very important and be realistic because I would rather be realistic and pass what I expected than have really high expectations that I could never reach and then fail to reach them, if that makes sense. So I hope that this video talked to somebody. I am feeling like today is a little bit of a slow day. And I think I'm really embracing that. And that's why the nature of this video is like this. I hope that you guys enjoy. I'm going to do a little come as you are section. But before I do, I would just like to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for, I got 100 views on my replacing consumerism with community video, which I'm very happy about. It's my first video to get to 100 views, so that's really nice. But thank you so much for chilling with me, and I hope we all learned something that we can apply to our lives this week. So, for my Come As You Are section, I want to talk about how I have been on a journey with my spirituality. And I think that that journey hits its highs and it hits its lows. And honestly, I think that my lows, I'm kind of in like a lull right now. And it kind of reminds me how important it is. I think when you get to a high, when you get to like, this is becoming part of my habit, this is becoming part of my life, it can become very like back burner. And so I feel as though like I hit a stride with like journaling and reading my Bible every day, and I'm not really in that stride anymore. And I think while I was in it, I was very much like it was kind of becoming less cognitive. And I think that it's very important for it to be something that I actively think about so that I can actively like interact with God in the way that I want to interact with him. And those moments in my life ask me to slow down, and that's really hard for me when I want to be super productive and I want to be on top of everything. And so I just want to give you guys a reminder that we are not perfect, and our relationship with God is going to go through its ups and downs. And he loves us and he understands. And the more that we spend time beating ourselves up about it and feeling guilty about it after he's already forgiven us, is a lot of time that we could have been right by his side that we kind of wasted with thinking about ourselves. So I think that something that I just wanted to share about that is it's important to be cognitive about our relationship with God. It's important to have him in our routine. And sometimes, and I think good comes out of a lot of things that you might not think. You might not think that good can come out of this, that good can come out of me kind of like straying away, but it honestly has given me a newfound desire to become close to him because I know what it's like to be there and I want to be there again. So, yeah, that's my come as you are section. Again, thank you so much if you stuck around. I'm feeling really like zen. I want to spray some eucalyptus in the air and kind of bask. I've really been wanting to do something different with my channel and like experiment and stuff, but it's proving very hard. I think it's because we're coming into like the last half of my like last semester, so there's a lot going on. So I'm kind of considering just being patient with myself and waiting until I graduate to like get really experimental, or if I should try and push this, because I really do love sitting down and talking to you guys. I love creating things that I can kind of look back on. Yeah, I'm going to be printing a book that I wrote soon just for myself. And I really want to find a way to share that experience with you guys, but I'm just not sure yet. Maybe I'll show you guys when it's printed. I designed the cover myself. I just hopped on Procreate. I'm not really an artist, but now I'm just yapping. But if you stuck around, I guess, hey. But yeah, I'm not really an artist, but it was a really fun experience and it feels like my baby in so many different ways. And I can't wait to give birth. So yeah, we'll see when that happens. I'm going to be editing for a bit before I print it. But yeah, that's just a little update with that. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching and have a great weekend.